What is happening, dudes? This is Trent Kanuga, and as well as being a game developer, I like to play games. I like to play games and I like to talk about games. So, mostly just games that I've been playing recently, and I didn't work on this or anything, but today I want to talk to you a little bit about Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, this was a game that I think it's almost always been developed by Crystal Dynamics. And I've known a few people that have worked on this series throughout the past 20 years. Gosh, I do still remember playing the original Tomb Raider. And the most fun part about the original Tomb Raider was breaking Laura's bones. You jump jumping off of waterfalls and seeing all the interesting ways that she could die. That was kind of an uncommon thing in games at that time. Usually they just evaporate into a poof of smoke in games back then. I am happy to say that they have retained such a desirable feature as to watch the multitude, a plethora, one might say, of methods in which you can kill Laura Croft. But if you look at it, the graphics have improved somewhat. Okay, dramatically. This game, I was reluctant to play it because it was exclusive to Xbox, and I'm not like a huge Xbox gamer. I'm more of a PS4 gamer or a PlayStation gamer. Always have been. But I was compelled because I loved the last Tomb Raider game. It's just called Tomb Raider. And I don't know how they get away with that. Like, how does it? I guess it's because it's been so long since the last one that was just called Tomb Raider that it's okay. But one of the things about this one, it definitely puts a lot more emphasis on the survival aspect. Definitely got a greater sense of adventure. I think that was really what this game captured the most, is like a sense of adventure. And there's like these claustrophobic caves, and there's like a lot more of these. There's some spelunking going on. There's some underwater kind of areas. You're mostly trudging through snow-covered areas, and honestly, as far as the story goes, I wasn't super grabbed by it. It's something to do with finding the lost city of Kitej. It's something that your dad was trying to track down, and he got involved and mixed up with this evil secret organization called Trinity, and so they're armed to the teeth and they're hunting down the same. Of course, it's immortality, dudes. Like, that's. But I feel like every one of these archaeology kind of games has to do with the hunt for some device or some cup or something that gives you immortality. Whatever the case, everybody's after it. And so it's something that your dad was chasing down, and now you pick up where he left off. And that's the summary of the story. Honestly, I missed a few sequences because, yeah, I don't have a lot of time to like devote to the story parts of games. So sometimes while cutscenes are going, I'll be doing something else, which is terrible. I know. How can I give a thorough evaluation of this game without really giving it my full attention? I don't think that that's why you play this game. It's so. I think this is like the 10th or 11th Tomb. Gosh, it might even be like the 15th Tomb Raider game, and I don't think that anybody's like going, oh well, that's like the mansion from Tomb Raider 2 from 1997. Blah 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 blah. No, this is the game that you pick up when it's like, oh cool, I want to like survive in a tundra kind of an environment and explore tombs, and it delivers on that end. Big questions is it like open world? Is it like, how much action, how much violence versus stealth? I would say there's like, it's not really open world necessarily. It's got some areas that really open up for large, expansive locations that I was impressed with how big some of those settings got. But for the most part, it's still fairly linear, although it gives you the ability to go back and replay areas that you've already been through and hunted through, and there's lots of more things to find in previous areas that you've already gone through. So yeah, the areas it's fairly linear. It goes pretty much from smaller area to like slightly bigger area to like huge area, and then there's some areas where you have to use these trebuchets to blast open walls, and that's kind of cool. There are areas in terms of action versus stealth where you're sort of forced to go through action sequences, and there are areas where floods of enemies will just kind of like pile onto you. Um, I always have a gripe with a game that does quick time events for boss battles. I always have a problem with that. It's like, no, dude, you don't need to make it more cinematic. A boss battle is not just a more cinematic thing. A boss battle should be the test for the game mechanics that you've been learning throughout that stage, or for that weapon or item, or in that setting that you've been trained for, not some random quick time event. I don't know how that's still like an okay thing that anybody does that. But anyways, that's just me being picky about game design. I would say that the rest of the game design, in terms of like the stealth mechanics, were pretty cool. I love stealth games. I'm a junkie for stealth games, and so I did like that. I liked that there were areas where you could really kind of sneak around a lot of enemies. You didn't even have to take them down, and you get kind of a bonus for stealth kills and dragging them into the bushes. I thought that was cool. But sometimes, I mean, it's not focused on being a stealth game, so sometimes you're sitting in the bushes and they just know where you are. How? I don't know. Usually they shouldn't know that you're there if you're completely concealed in bushes. But there was some cool new mobility things that they added. One, you get like the pick, the ice pick, so that allows you to grab onto flat panels of ice. There's like heavy bolts so that you can stab those into certain walls, and it allows you to climb. It had a little bit of a Metroid feel, which I loved. And truth be told, like, this is a series that I'm not like super gung ho about. I don't like try to get an early copy and like like just lose my shit over like, oh, I've got it in the box and can't wait to get it home like I do with some games. I get that passionate about it. I get that into it. This is not necessarily one of those, but it's definitely one that if I have time, I'm going to play every one of them in the series, because I love the material gathering, upgrading all of your gear. I love that aspect of the game. I love the graphics. Of course, they did a damn good job. They did a really good job with the visuals for this game. I don't know how well it'll hold the test of time, graphically, because with new technology coming out all the time, it just sort of, things fade. I can't really go back and play the last Tomb Raider game because of that reason. But as new ones are coming out and new settings, and they add new gear and equipment and new tombs and things like that, I'm into it, man. I definitely hope that they can continue going with this, and that we'll see like a Legend of the Tomb Raider. No, I don't know if that's a good title. Tomb Raider Armageddon. Tomb Raider Evolution. Tomb Raider Evolution. That's it. That's the next one, I think. Yeah, sure. Anyways, so that about kind of like concludes my thoughts on the Rise of the Tomb Raider. I would say, if I were to give it a rating amongst other Tomb Raider games, top notch. Top notch. This one's like 9.5 pickles. Um, in terms of everything else that's out there on the landscape of games that you should buy right now, I kind of wish that I would have just waited for the PS4 version. I didn't need to play it on Xbox. I kind of have like I find the Xbox controller to be a little clunky, but certainly it is a fun game, and definitely worth your time, especially if you like kind of slower paced, but choose whether or not to jump into action kind of games. And so that about does it for my thoughts on this game. Next up, I've got in my queue, I've got The Division and Zelda Twilight Princess HD. So those are going to be coming up soon. Love talking games with you dudes. If you liked Rise of the Tomb Raider, let me know why in the comments below. Or if you can't stand it, if you hate this game, if you regret that it even exists, I want to know why, man. Why you hating? Also, let me know what games you think that I should be playing and what I should talk to you guys about, and what you'd like to hear my thoughts on. I don't know why anybody would. I really don't, but I certainly just enjoy. I just love games. My buddy said to me the other day, he's like, I want two things out of life. I want to make games and I want to play games. I was like, dude, that's why we're friends. I get you. Anyway, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Until then, ciao, baby. Oh, ciao, baby.